The doctor just diagnosed me with stage 4 cancer, and they said it spread.
Sha'Qualah, take 1, camera B, mark.
Onsite. Why did I create Onsite? So Onsite started when I was working with the Hip Hop Film Festival, and I partnered with them to do an event called Act Up. And Act Up the whole point of Act Up was for screenwriters, for filmmakers, predominantly screenwriters, to get a chance to hear their script come to life with actors doing live table reads. I ran the whole event. It was fun, but something started to kind of like stand out to me. Something was wrong to me. It was like, well, the actors are kind of being thrown on stage like cattle, and a lot of the time it just seemed like some of them needed the work. They needed to understand what slating is, or they need to understand what the screen, what the directions are. They needed to understand how to bring that character to life. It was just little subtle things that I kept noticing that the actors needed, and it just wasn't sitting well with me. The event was beautiful, but for me, it just became like this annoying thing in my head, like something's wrong. They need more. So I left. So in 2018 is when Act Up started, and we had 2 great years with me hosting it and, you know, co-producing it. It was amazing. And then in 2020, I got to a point where, September 2020, I got to a point where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Not because I didn't love what we were doing, because something was calling me to do something different. I didn't really understand what it was yet, but I'm like, something else needs to be done. And randomly, right, out with the actors, and just like when I get home, I'll say something silly like, yo, you know, just say something silly like, yo, we activated. And I kept saying it, and I kept saying it. I kept saying, oh, we activated, we activated. And I'm like, yeah, wait, when you get scripts, you kind of got to read on site. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, I like the way that sounds. Hold on, you got to read your script on site. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, actors do have to read on site. And they have to be good in that moment. And then it just started to click to me, like, wait a minute, with comedians, they'll actually, tell me a joke on site right now, and you have to be ready. Singers, sing right now, and you have to be ready. And I'm like, that's the same thing that kind of applies for actors. Once a script is given to you, you have to be ready right now. And I'm like, I want to create a space that allows actors to work out, so that in that moment when they're like, hey, I need you to do this right now, they're not nervous. They know what they need to do. They've worked out the kinks, so they can perform immediately, and it's good. And I'm like, yeah, on site. Okay, yeah, I like the way that sounds. And I'm gonna be really honest with you, I was poor. 2020, I was poor. And all I had was this idea, and I went to my sister, and I was like, listen, I have this thing that won't let me sleep. It won't leave me alone. And I really need support in this. And she was like, okay, what do you need? I'm like, I want to do events for actors. I want to create like a gym where actors get to work constantly on their craft. They get to make mistakes, fumble. They get to get scenes on the spot. They get monologues on the spot, but they have to bring it to life. They have to work through it. They got to push through. They got to stumble and fall and pick themselves back up. And she was like, oh, I like that. Okay. She was like, how much? I said, hey, now we talking numbers. That's my kind of thing. So I was like, listen, just let me get a little 500. She was like, 500? Like, yeah, 500. So she said yes. I took the only $500 I had, booked a space, created a flyer, called a few of my actor friends that were already like not already, they are working actors. And I'm like, listen, I want to create a space where we turn aspiring actors into working actors by allowing them to work, to constantly work on their craft. And they was like, I'm down, say nothing else. And I was like, okay. And Onsite was born.
So crazy, because I'm thinking about Onsite, I'm thinking about some of the flyers, I'm thinking about some of the stories my friends has told me. And when you say you're poor, right, and you're trying to figure this out, when you first started Onsite, you were still creating so many opportunities for people. Like, I know Larice was able to do his photography service there, right, and create his own money, right?
Yeah.
So even as you're like, I'm trying to scrape this together, I can take every dollar I can, you were still being given in that process. Like, what walked you through that? What made you say, hey, I'm gonna keep this face on, shit is burning all around me, but yet I'm gonna continue to create opportunities for people. I'm gonna continue to create this safe space so people can shine and feel welcome no matter where they're at in their journey.
I was raised that way. Community, right? I was raised to understand that richness doesn't necessarily mean financial wealth. Richness means it's more or less what's inside of you, what you have to offer the world. And with friends like Larice, Leo, Imani, Derek, Steven, the list is endless, Greg, Julito, Khalil, just a list of wealth, meaning just the people and the wealth that they had and the gifts they had. I knew that I wanted to create a space that people felt nurtured in just greatness and creativity. And I'm just like, listen, I don't have financial gain, but I want to create a space where you can make financial gain for what you do and you do it well. And these actors need it, right? They need to be seen. They need to see themselves in a real way. They need to see themselves as a professional, because they are, right? To be an actor means that you are an entrepreneur. You work for yourself. You don't work for nobody else. You work for you. And your job is to tap into your emotional vault and constantly pull from that and have to be okay after. And how do you do that? How do you represent that, right? So you need headshots. You need headshots that allow you to kind of portray or showcase all the characters that you have within you, all the people you can play. So I'm like, Larice was the perfect person for that. One, he's an actor, and he's not just an actor, he's a good actor. So he understands what's necessary to bring a character to life. So I was like, oh, that's a no-brainer, right? Leo is another actor, but he's also a videographer, and he understands story. So it's like, how do I get him to add to this? And it was like, oh, when the people are doing their scenes, Leo gets to film this and he gets to bring it to life for them, and they get to see themselves doing the work. So it was just like, all of this is wealth. Financially, I'm struggling a little bit, but I was rich in friendship and community, and I just leaned into that.
Now, I know how hard it is to be an entrepreneur, to come up with ideas that you believe in and try to scrape from here to take from here. But I'll be ignorant to say that your journey is probably much harder than mine, just as the black female. As the black queen you are, trying to create these spaces and lead, especially in a field that are dominated by men.
Yeah.
Mostly white men.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the challenges things you had to navigate with creating these successful programs, and how people may see you on the other side of it as it's doing well, but take me through some of those things that you really had to go through, besides just the financial part, which I know is probably one of the biggest problems, but just everything in general.
So I want to say it had to be like 2008, 9. I applied for this program called New Stars that, they promised to make you a soap opera actor, and you know, the people, there's a line down the block. So I'm there, I get on the line, I get in, and I'm looking at the people in the room, and it's a lot of me in the room, but the people leading don't look like me. And it's interesting because they're asking you to play these characters, and you're like, okay, and you're doing it. But I was starting to realize it didn't land on them because I was brown. It didn't land on them because I was brown. It didn't resonate to them. It was like, ooh, well, they was like, ooh, well, can you be more sexy, or can you talk a little more urban? And I was like, what does that even mean? Talk more urban. This is how I talk. Be sexier. Just being me. It created this understanding that they really don't get what it means to be in a brown body. They don't get what it means to be a black woman or a black man, for real. They think that what they see on television, they think that a lot of the time they think we're uneducated, or we're like this machine, right? That can just turn on and off these things at the drop of a hat, not realizing we go through the same experiences they go through. We experience the same heartache, the same joy, the same sadness, the same struggles. The only difference is we operate from love first. And I kept understanding that that's not landing on them. Even when I did my headshots, right? Did my headshots, makeup artist came, and the makeup in and of itself, not one shade was a shade for me. And I was like, baby, they about to make me look like the character on Ghost. I'm gonna look like I done died. And so said, so done. I couldn't use the headshots. I was light-skinned. As you can see, I'm not a light-skinned woman. But in these headshots, I was light-skinned. And it was frustrating because I paid thousands of dollars as a single black mother, young single black mother. I spent thousands of dollars I didn't have in hopes to become an actor. And these people just used it. They used the money, they used me, and it was so many of us in there. And that stayed with me, like, oh, these people are using us as cash cows. They really don't have no intentions on helping us for real or taking us to that next step. I'm just a number. And when I mean that line was down a block, the classroom had at least 50 people. So if you do the math, if I paid $3,500, you got 50 people in there that paid $3,500. Oh, they came up. And we all walked away with nothing. That wasn't gonna be my story. That I couldn't let that be anybody else's story again. I kept hearing it too much. There's too many times where actors are being used like cattle, and it just frustrated me. Why? Why is this profession operated in that way, right? Oh, take this class here. Oh, I'm offering this here. Oh, pitch to me here. And they're exploiting us. Nah.
When I looked at some of my homework and I looked at the time frame when you created ACTORvated, there were some tough things going on in your life. And typically, I don't think things just happen, like things are just not a coincidence. Mm-hmm. Like, and I don't want to say it. I think you know where I'm hitting at. And I want you to process this. I know it's not something you have talked about publicly, but some tough things happen in your life at the same time you're creating this company, at the same time you're creating Onsite, and you're still leading with a lot of grace and love when a bunch of things are happening to you, and it's very easy for you to just fall off the rails and say, fuck all of this. So I want you to talk to those moments and certain things that was happening to you specifically in 2020, and why it's still, with all of that happening, with all of that frustration, why it still led you to having this big heart and helping so many people throughout this wonderful city.
2020, 2020 changed my life in a way that I don't think I will ever be the same. January 30th, 2020, I'm in the shower, I get a call. So my phone's going off. And I see the call, I'm in the shower, I'm like, oh, I'll call my dad back. He keep calling me. So I'm like, nah, he calling me a lot. What the hell's going on? I answer, and I heard words I don't think I was ever gonna hear again. Because I'm like, okay. He calls me and he's like, yo, Dina died. For anyone that know me, Dina is my sister. She's my aunt, but we were raised as sisters. So my mom was a young mother, struggling young mother who fell to addiction. And I was raised by my grandmother and father. So when I moved into my grandmother and my grandmother's house, I moved in with my grandmother, my father, my grandfather, and Dina. Dina's 2 years older than me. And we were raised as sisters. That was my sister. That was it. It was me, Dina. That's it. Yin and yang. I don't know if anybody ever experienced like not breathing for a moment. Literally all the life in me just like it ceased to exist for a second. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It didn't register to me. I think because 2 days before that, I was supposed to see her. I literally was dressed to go see her. Got on a train to go to see Dina. Got on a train, the train shut down. Had to get off the train. Got an Uber. Went outside to meet Uber. It was one of the coldest days. It was January 18th, one of the coldest days there is. Got out, was walking to the Uber left me. And I'm like, what is going on? Get another Uber wouldn't come. Got another Uber wouldn't come. So now I'm freezing, I'm crying, and I'm like, yo, all I wanna do is just get to Queens to see Dina. Like that's literally all I wanted to do January 18th. Go to Queens to see Dina. That's it, nothing else. And I couldn't get there. So after an hour trying, I walk, frustration, get to 50th Street, just jump back on the train. Train came immediately, went home. 2 days later, I get that call. And that was the start of the shift of 2020, right? I'm like, okay, I have to honor my sister. Doing ACT UP, like I said, things started to not feel right because Dina was very much about Quala, live your dreams. Do what feels authentic to you. Don't stay where you don't feel like it makes sense. And I'm watching actors that I love, and I let's be clear, I don't think that there's nothing wrong with what they were doing. I just kept saying like, yo, something about this very much felt like when I was at that organization and we're just being kind of like shuffled. And yes, screenwriters were doing amazing work. They got to hear their work. They were so happy, so honored. But I kept looking at the actors and I was like, this is not sitting with me. September, mind you, this event is building my brand. Like people like, oh, Quala. And I couldn't do it anymore. This is September. I get a call from, her name is Christina G. Richardson. Look her up. Phenomenal director. She calls me to ask me to be an second assistant director for B-Boy Blues, Jussie Smollett directorial debut. And I'm like, me? What? Absolutely. She's like, yes, girl, you love actors. She was like, we know how much you love actors. Absolutely. I'm like, okay, cool. Super excited. I get on the phone and call my mom. Ma, oh my God, I'm gonna be second assistant director for Jussie Smollett, B-Boy Blues. She's like, get it, girl. My mom celebrated me so much on the phone. So, I mean, we're on the phone screaming, carrying on. You would think this woman is in front of me. Mind you, she lives a block and a half away from me. And we are carrying on the phone. So I get off, day one start. I am killing it. I mean, anything that they need, I'm on set. I meet Jussie Smollett for the first time. I'm looking at all these amazing actors. It was my dream coming to life. And it was bigger than my dream coming to life. It was a door opening for me, but not just for me, for all actors. Because I know if I walk through this door, I know that I'm leaving that door open, and I know for a fact I'm walking the actors behind me in. So I knew, I'm like, all right, we cooking. So I get a break. The one day they give us a break, I'm out, I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna celebrate. She's like, all right, get it, girl. So we out, I'm at Smoke Dizz's rap event, and the phone rang, and it's my mom. So of course I answer, hey Mom, what's going on? So it's not just my mom, it's my mom and all my siblings. So I'm like, hey Ma, what's going on? She's like, you have a moment? Yes. Mind you, I just spoke to her, we're celebrating. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? She's like, hey, I'm at the hospital. I'm like, okay, are you okay? She was like, yeah. No, I'm not okay. What's going on? She's like, so the doctor just diagnosed me with stage 4 cancer, and they said it spread. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? She was like, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean stage 4 cancer and it spread? What are you talking about? I was just talking to you. You were just fine. She was like, yeah, but I didn't want to bother y'all. Y'all are doing amazing things with your lives, and
take your time.
I'm like, okay. Cool. All right, Mom. What do you need? My mom, in good fashion, just keep being great. Keep honoring the people you love. That's all I need from you, Sha'Qualah. That's it. She was like, we gonna beat this shit. You already know, we gonna beat this shit. This shit ain't nothing, but I need you to just keep honoring the people you love. And I'm like, that's a strange request. You just told me you have cancer. You telling me honor people? She's like, yeah, that's what I need. And hung up. That was October 21st, 2020. My mom she started to shift immediately after that. Like, it went from her saying it, hey, I got stage 4 cancer and it spread, to her losing weight consistently, to her becoming this shell of herself, right? But the thing that didn't shift was her love of everyone, even in her dying, right? She still cracked jokes. Let me tell you what my mother said, let me tell you. She goes, Sha'Qualah, she said, I guess crack ain't gonna kill me. I said, wait, what? That's not funny. She was like, I mean, we all thought it was. And I laughed, the nurse laughed, we all laughed from a good place. But she wasn't lying, right? So it was a week before Thanksgiving. My mom, we was taking turns going to the hospital. I'm on the phone. I'm the person talking to the doctor every second of the day. Talk to the doctors. Hey, what's going on? How is she doing? What are y'all doing? What treatment are we doing? Is there chemo? What's possible? And they was like, Ms. Sha'Qualah, so we have to tell you that you need to come and say your goodbyes. And I'm like, say goodbye to who? Say goodbye to who? My mom? You're bugging. Absolutely not. Not doing that. Because that's not a thing. And she said, no, it is. You need to come say your goodbyes. And I was like, wow. Okay. What does that mean, say goodbye? How do you say goodbye to the person that loved everyone in the world, right? She didn't have to know you to love you. How do you say goodbye to someone who had one loaf of bread and fed all the dudes on the corner could be hungry? My mother would make sandwiches for everybody and call them out the window, hey, come upstairs and eat. You know, people slept on my mom's couch. How do you say goodbye to someone like that? I went, asked my sisters, let me kick it with her. Went in the room. She kept calling me her mom's name, which I kind of find to be odd. So I'm like, hey, Ma. She like, hey, Ruby. I'm like, it's not Ruby, it's Qualah. She was like, Qualah? Hi, Qualah. And I said, I get what's happening here, right? I have to be the thing that my mom has always been to me. I have to be that joy in this moment of darkness for her, right? So my mom is a big reggae head, so much so that I thought she was Jamaican. You couldn't tell me my mother wasn't Jamaican. My father's Trinidadian. In my head, I was Trinidadian Jamaican. Come to find out, my mother's from the South, but that's a whole nother conversation. So in the room, I'm like, you know what? I know what to do. I know how to bring some joy to this woman. I put on Barrington Levy to Experience. I watched this woman get up, sit up. She reached out and she goes, Qualah, grab my hand. I want to dance with you. I helped her up and she danced the whole song. She couldn't even walk, for real. Like, she couldn't walk. But for one song, I got my mom. She knew who I was. She remembered everything that was, like, she understood me in that moment. And she just kept looking at me and she kept asking, she was like, are y'all gonna be okay? And I was like, yeah, Ma, come on. She was like, are you gonna make sure that you continue to create community for others? I was like, Ma. She was like, just like, promise me you'll do that. I was like, yeah, girl, I got you. The song ended. I put it back down. And she went right back. So Ruby left the room. A week later, my mom took her last breath. Wow. But you know, God has this funny way of, he has this funny way of just this funny way of making you see things even when you don't want to, right? January, my mom died November, January, I get a pain in my neck, I go to the doctor, and then I get diagnosed with cancer. And all I wanted to do was call my mom. And I couldn't. But I had my daughter, I had my family, I had all of, you know, the tribe to lean into. And I'm trying to be strong because that's what she taught me, right? My mom taught all of us to be strong. But the reality is it's been hard. It's been hard to keep going. It's been hard to create community when the community you want is, when your community leader is gone. It's been hard. But I hear her constantly in my head. Sha'Qualah, just make sure you create community. Make sure you keep it going. But how do you keep it going when you're angry that God saved you and didn't save her? And the only person I would call to get that answer would be her. So I kind of been sitting with the question, why me, right? You want to know why I created ACTORvated Onsite? Because I had to. I had to honor her. I had to keep going, even though every day I want to stop. Every day I wish that I could trade my life for her. Because it wasn't supposed to be me. It was supposed to be her that gets saved. And the part that sucks the most is I look exactly like her. Not a little bit, identical. She was that arrogant, y'all, that she went and made a clone of herself. So how do you look yourself in the mirror and not keep going? How do you not keep her legacy existing? So my mother helped the people like her. My mother helped the people that was figuring it out, the people that needed a little extra support. And that's the thing that kept chewing and gnawing at the back of my head. Yo, help the people that are like you. Create a space for people that are like you to work it out. And it's okay. Create a safe space for actors, because that's what you are. That is what you are, Sha'Qualah. That is what I am, an actor.
You said something very important about your mother. You said she would make a sandwich for anybody. She would open her door for everybody. And when you say how you continue her legacy, you're doing it. Because now you're opening opportunities for people. You're turning nobody away, and you're extending yourself, even when you're probably sometimes not in a position to. And with that, I will say thank you, Sha'Qualah, for sharing that story. Thank you for what you do for the community. Thank you for always showing up for people who look like me, friends of mine. And God, I'm happy that I know you now and that you're a part of my circle. And for that, everybody in here, please clap it up for Sha'Qualah. Don't
Yeah.
turn off the cameras. Please tell me what's next for Quala. What are you continuing to do to expand your legacy and honor your mother?
So, where do I get the love of movies? My mom. So I'm currently in the process of creating a screening called Shorts and Sneakers. I am a sneakerhead. And just a place where actors can come and show the work that they created. I think being an actor, to me, is one of the dopest professions there is. You get to live in your emotional bag. You get to heal through other stories. And you also get to create, right? Why not show what you created? So I'm creating a space called Shorts and Sneakers for actors to showcase their films. And that is coming soon. That's actually in talks. Onsite will be back. I took a moment for Onsite because I wanted it to be bigger. And I'll be honest, I lost sight, right? Any entrepreneur does. Sometimes we get lost in this thing of it needs to look a certain way, it needs to be a certain way. And the reality is it doesn't. You just need to keep going. All the things that it needs to be, it will become as long as you keep going. So Onsite will be back. It's gonna look a little different. You'll see. And I'm also creating an actors conference. Don't ask me how. I don't know how, but I know that it's happening. And I'm really excited to honor actors. I'm really excited to create a space where actors can come together in communion and learn and celebrate and enjoy and just be their creative, authentic self. And as long as I continue to do that, I'm honoring Michelle Gooden.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And if you don't mind, I would love to dedicate this episode to your mother, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Let's do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.